Look, I'm really excited to formally welcome everyone to Elevate Farms' Orange, New Jersey facility. For those of you who haven't met me, my name is Amin Jayati, and I'm the CEO of the company. I want to start and end by saying, be prepared to see the future once you get inside. Look, it's been several years since we've been working on this journey here at this site specifically, but in the area. And as I guess everything, it takes longer than you hope. But a lot of what we've been able to accomplish has been with the support of these two people and the organizations and the groups behind them. So both the state of New Jersey and specifically here in Orange and with the mayor's team. So what we do here is we produce over 100 pounds per square foot. You compare that to traditional fields, and that's like 1 or 2 pounds per square foot. We're something like 100 times more productive than traditional agriculture. On top of that, we use somewhere around 90 to 95% less water. But even just this idea of growing here, and New Jersey has a rich history of agriculture. New Jersey grows, right?
That's right.
What we're doing is we're taking product that's primarily grown in the Southwest. We're taking 3,500 miles out of transportation. This single facility reduces about 200 metric tons a year of CO2 just from transport. So like this really is just this kind of future. Where are we going with the world? And I bring up the Vineland, New Jersey, having a rich history for agriculture, but New Jersey also has a rich history in supporting technology, food technology, biotechnology, with the university, even something as simple as going into an agricultural place and trying to build a farm that doesn't use soil. You have to be progressive, and I think New Jersey has, at least they've shown us, and of course we've got competitors around. New Jersey has been very, very supportive to food tech and food technology. So again, very grateful for the opportunity to be here. And really, that's it. I'm excited to show you guys what's inside. We're trying to. I know it's cold, so we'll make this quick. But we've just planned to get you guys through sort of quick tours and then a little goodie bag afterwards. But I'd like to introduce Mayor Warren here.
Thank you.
Without whose help this couldn't have happened.
Appreciate it. Thank you. To my director, Wendy Sykes, and to Stacy Martin, and our business person, entrepreneur person, commercial person, Chris Sykes, Chris Mobley. I want to thank them and this team for making this happen. We took 4 walls, and when you go inside, you'll see a magnificent place that has occurred. And it's about entrepreneurship, it's about the environment, and certainly it's about partnering with the city of Orange Township. But I know, Amin, none of this could not happen without the employees. Please give yourselves a round of applause. We're going to make this happen every day. Brother Art, who was on the ground here and did the engineering. He learned his craft at Tuskegee University. But most importantly, he was the man who would call and say, we need this, we need to happen now. Delays are hurting us. Let's get this going. And I want to congratulate you, sir, for your diligence. Give him a round of applause. Business things can't happen without an advocate. So the New Jersey Center has been central in making this happen. Thank you for all that you do. CEO Amin, you can't have picked a better team to make all of this happen. Here in Orange, we welcome this. This is the first in America. They came to none other than Orange, New Jersey to make it happen. We're so proud of it. We want to take a look inside. This will not be the first visit because I'm putting out all feelers to our Senate delegation all the way down to our governor and our council people to come here to see magic happen in the future. Once again, on behalf of the city of Orange Township, we thank you. Welcome aboard. Congratulations.
packing them in 3-pound bags. So you wouldn't find a 3-pound bag in the supermarket.
Right, that's
All-
the bag.
Yeah. So all of this is going into food service. Of course, we're at the foot of Manhattan here, and the customers that we've lined up are the two biggest food service distributors in the United States. And the way they're proposing to do this is every day when they run their deliveries into Manhattan, they would bring a truck on the way back, but swing by our facility, pick up whatever we produce today, take it over to their fridge overnight, repack it or distribute it, and the next morning we go out into Manhattan. So we're talking about we harvest today, and tomorrow it's in a restaurant, walk-in refrigerator for daily consumption. Just keep turning it over that way.
Nice.
So that's the idea. And So we do harvest every day, and our customers are like, they're so used to getting product from California, so they sort of book a truck, and then 12 days later get another truck. And every day that reduces the shelf life. And so it's like a new way of selling. They're now looking at it saying, well, what do you mean? We can get stuff every day, fresh? Well, so we're kind of adjusting our schedules, or they're adjusting their schedules to our schedule.
So, for instance, today we selected 2 trays from 1 layer. These are 28 days old, so these are harvest days. And we just pulled them off. But yeah, this is entirely unmanned, and they just grow in here for another 14 days.
I'm here at Elevate Farms. Yes, I said farms, right here in the city of Orange Township. You're going to see an entire process of growth of lettuce and potential for other vegetables right here inside of this building. Man, you are the CEO of Elevate, and you've done this in other countries, but your first full efforts right here in the city of Orange Township.
Yeah, absolutely. We're Canadian based, and so we built a couple farms up in Canada, and we're now operational in New Zealand. Both Canada and New Zealand are continuing to expand, and this is our first foray into the U.S. market.
Tell me, how did this come about? You had a lot of partners working on this. Tell me some of the players.
Maybe in simple terms, my background was always around manufacturing, let's say sort of advanced manufacturing automation. In my previous role, I was manufacturing paper, but all of that was going into food service distribution. And so literally the biggest distributors of food here in the United States, literally in this Northeast region, were customers of mine. So I kind of had a good connectivity into the distribution points for food in the US. And my partner, who's based in Oslo, is, the best way to describe him is he's a photobiologist. He has a very deep understanding of how living organisms react to light. And so that's a lot of our key competence has been around understanding how to use light and use light effectively to grow plants. So when the lights are on, you'll notice that it's not blue or red or white. It's not like one color of light, but it's almost like a blade with lots of different colors of light. So we've got this kind of very targeted approach on how to grow these specific plants. And what we do is we give the plants the correct environment that they need for the time of growth that they're at. While that sounds like a mouthful, it is a combination of different colors of light at different stages in the growth period, but it's also a different amounts of nutrient. This idea that a big plant, it needs more stuff. So as the plants are bigger, they get more air circulation. When the plants are smaller, they have less air circulation. It makes perfect sense. All of this is kind of, I could say, early machine learning. So we've got computer systems that are controlling that. And so exactly as you kind of saw through here, the entire farm from this controlled environment grow room is entirely autonomous. It's fed by a conveyor in, at that end and a conveyor out downstairs.
Well,
at
I was
this
going to ask you if you could do a 1, 2, 3 step operation and then harvest. Tell me how that will go. I know you start with water and some nutrients and you have some conveyor belts. If you could do a 1, 2, 3 step and then harvest system, how would you describe that?
I mean, the plants have this kind of, we've split it into 2 grow cycles. So we grow them in sort of 2 distinct rooms, let's say. One for small plants, and then we have an automatic transplanter that'll take the plants and transplant them into our trays. I'll explain that in a second, but then we have the main grow room. And in sort of general terms, it's almost cut half and half. Certain plants have a slightly different grow plan, but so we've got this early stage and then a late stage, and some automation to tie those 2 in together.
Wow. I have some of the lettuce behind me. This is the bounty that you've produced. But tell me how important it was for you to partner with the city of Orange Township and make some of this lettuce available to many of our residents on a gift basis.
Yeah, so I'm gonna maybe answer that in a round way. First, these products, lettuce, is something that in sort of macro numbers, about 95% of the United States production on an annual basis comes from California and Arizona. So the deep sort of southwest of the US, of course, 2/3 of the US population's on the East Coast. This metro New York, New Jersey area is the largest population density, and it's the furthest away from the manufacturing area of California. And I'm not talking about, I mean, there, of course, Jersey has a rich history of agriculture, but these products on an annual basis, the majority of the production comes from the Southwest. You got 3,500 miles of transportation. You've got a product here that has a 14-day shelf life. It cannot be, you can't freeze this. You don't jar lettuce.
Well, let's take a walk through the shelf life. Grows on March 1st in California. Tell me about the shelf life and the travels of this lettuce.
Yeah, so this is exactly our kind of, in a roundabout way, this is our reason for being here, and specifically in the Northeast. But you can take apples and onions, harvest them once a year, and store them for 12 months. This stuff has on average a 14-day shelf life, and 5 days of that, generally speaking, goes into transportation. So it comes out of the ground in California. By the time it gets into distribution in New Jersey or in the New York area, or for that matter, anywhere in the Northeast, you got about 9 or 10 days. And literally, without exaggeration, there probably is, I mean, there is not a restaurant in the US that does not have salad on the menu. Right. So you can't jar it, you can't freeze it, you can't store it, you can't stockpile it. It has a 9 or 10-day shelf life, and it's consumed every single day in millions and millions of pounds. It's essentially, JIT, just in time. There's no way around that. So when you have a frost, all of a sudden the entire supply chain is disrupted. And we saw a lot of that coming up to the end of last year, where they're just, signs in the window, no lettuce. Look, lettuce may or may not change the way people eat, but the reality is, again, at a macro level, people want to be conscious of the environment. That means take trucks off the road, not have miles of transportation and the CO2 footprint. But we want to eat better. We're trying to be more plant-based. And while we haven't figured out maybe how to grow all plants, we figured out how to grow some plants. And that's what we're focusing on here. And this facility is leafy greens production that's literally tying into last mile delivery with existing food service distribution.
Tell me how the restaurants
bags are just literally, this goes into a restaurant supplier that then delivers the next day to a restaurant in Manhattan. Or
tell me about the restaurateurs' expectations when they order generally, and what you're able to do for production and
so a product specification for a salad blend is a mix of any 14 varieties of lettuce. And the reason for that is they don't know where it's going to come from at what time in the year, and they need a very broad specification. So now here we are saying, what would you like? Like the option doesn't really exist. It's give us whatever kind of loosely resembles a blend. So we get to make the same thing consistently all the time at a consistent quality. Why? Because
You get it to the restaurant's door.
and we can do this because we've got a consistent environment. We're still growing something biological, but we have a consistent environment. And what we've done with that consistent environment is kind of like the perfect summer day. Maybe our researchers figure out that it's actually a perfect spring day, not too hot. But the point is that we have the same amount of sunlight and the same amount of daylight, a dark sort of nightfall every single day, 365 days a year. And so what we're doing here is we're taking that and we're seeding the exact same amount every single day. And so just philosophically, you have to think of this as typically you would go into a field, you would plant seeds, and then you would come back a month later or 2 months later, depending on the crop, and you would harvest all this stuff. But remember, you can't keep it.
Right.
Well, here we seed every day. And then 14 days later, we transplant every day. And then 14 days later, we harvest every day. So what that means is every 28 days, we're emptying 1/28 of our system. So we are turning our inventory or our crop or our field every single day. And so what that means is we're harvesting product and shipping it the same day. And generally speaking, the restaurant's going to get it the next day, maximum 2 days later.
So it's harvested on a Wednesday. It could be at a restaurant by Saturday.
More likely Thursday or Friday, because
Whereas if it came from the farm,
it's a week out. But the problem is it's a week out at best.
right?
And it's often just to get in through the supply chain because the truck will come up here and then the next truck might be 3 days later.
Right.
So, it's so uncommon to allow distribution to get access to a product where they could get that product every single day. It just, I don't want to say doesn't exist, but it doesn't exist in the format that we're proposing.
Tell me about some of the systems you have in this building. I found it extraordinary that even as we breathe, you are pulling water out of the air, putting it into a tank, and reusing it to water plants.
Yeah, I still, I'm always surprised. So in traditional agriculture, the method, like you measure things in metric or imperial in kilos and liters or pounds and pints. But in traditional agriculture, it is acre feet. And so that's literally an acre is 44,000 feet. And an acre feet is 44,000 feet, 12 inches deep, tall.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can imagine that amount of water, that's how you measure watering in the field. And of course, as soon as you do it, a lot of that water just evaporates. Well, in our case, we're watering literally a pot. And then that plant picks up that water, it absorbs the nutrients, it expels the moisture, and we collect that moisture out of the air, create pure water, and pump it right back into the plants. So mathematically, we're somewhere in the 90% range. We've measured as high as 98% less water, but it is sort of crop specific.
Tell me how many employees you have in the facility and what they do.
Yeah, we've got about 15 people in here. The majority of that is checking to make sure things go well. It's putting bags and boxes into refrigerated rooms. There's very little actual handling. No one touches the product. We just sort of take a package and put it over there until it goes onto a truck. But that being said, there are a lot of redundancies. There's a lot of automation, and we've got humans kind of watching to make sure that the machines do things right.
Now,
But-
those are the people you have on the ground in the facility, but you also have a contracted auxiliary force that maintains your computer system, that maintains the automated equipment.
Yeah. I mean, really, the idea here is we want to build scale, and I'd say, one of the buzzwords everyone's talking about AI, how it's going to change the world. The truth is, it is. We're probably closer to early machine learning in sort of specific terms. We are collecting a tremendous amount of data. And then we're looking at that data to make decisions. And we're not yet at the point where machines are making those decisions. So we have some highly qualified people, PhDs and masters. We have people from all kinds of different backgrounds, from engineering through to plant sciences, that are involved in different aspects of our system, from maintenance all the way through to making some of those executive decisions. But it all comes from consistency and collecting data. And so I know it's such a kind of a cop out to say, well, it's all data, but it really is. It's millions and millions of data points that we're analyzing, and then we're reacting to that data. And I don't think we're far away from having software to control that decision making.
Hopefully that's on the horizon. Thank you for bringing this to the city of Orange Township. We're proud to have it. This is a technological advance that should be hopefully duplicated all over the country. Thank you for bringing it here to Orange. But I want to bring in one of your top engineers, Art. I want to bring in one of your top engineers because when I first came here, Art, I saw 4 brick walls, and you tried to explain to me, as Amin was doing to our viewers, but I couldn't get it because I couldn't see it. But now you produced it. Tell me about the journey.
Well, like you said, when you first brought when I came to New Jersey, it was just a shell of a building. So we had to start with our foundation, ground up. We dug into the floor and we dug it 4 feet down deep. Started with the trenching for our plumbing. We received the sump pumps, um, and all the plumbing could go in. Then from that point on, we start with the walls. And these walls here are specially manufactured to keep in the cooling inside of the process area. So we're bringing those up, of course, electrical and everything, but the concrete, the foundation will be laid. And, I would bring in Dwayne on different aspects and just say, hey, man, you got to see now, we got the floor down.
That's right.
And, say we got the walls up, and so then we started bringing equipment in. And that was the big thing, the challenge. As you can see, it's pretty tight for space. And so it was, I guess, maneuvering, working through different contractors, different crafts, and bringing those in. And then the equipment, you see, we have a lot of good, I say expensive equipment in here, but up to date, new technology, tray washing. But the rack system, we actually, as they come in across the borders, they import a lot of things, a lot of international companies, vendors we had. So as we brought them in, import, we was really just getting them off the boat onto the rigs into here, and we just put them together as they came in piece by piece. Each rack, the lights that you see.
This almost required your own electric panel. I see a whole complex out there. That wasn't easy.
Well, that's true. Also, we purchased our own switch gear, our own transformer, and so we have that installed. Our electrical room and everything. So all this stuff, I say, was just piecemeal together. And, the first time, with everything as we put it together, we'll make sure it looks good. It's our showcase. So, and the best thing, like I said, I told them, wait, you got to come back when I turn the lights on.
And we've turned the lights on. 30 years ago, when you graduated from Tuskegee University, this concept didn't exist.
I don't think so. No, not at all.
So you had to learn from the ground up.
I definitely did. I had partners, and this is a technology that NASA uses. They have on the space station, and we have my counterpart, an ex-NASA scientist who gets really consults with us, and he was there, my right-hand guy, along with him. We put this thing together, and it's just the growth of it. There's more to come. This is just I say it's the baby. It's the start of it. So many things we can do. Growing lettuce is just small. I think it has a bigger picture in mind. He's ready to grow. Anything that can be grown, it's going to be grown inside now, and I think it's going to be really helpful. We control everything, the environment, the lighting, the watering, the nutrients. So when you control that, you have a better product.
We can tell that there are many more plantings to come. I do want to quickly, as we close, bring in Wendy Sykes, who is our Director of Community Service. And through her outreach and her willingness to work with this commercial entity has found a way to benefit our community. Wendy, you're always on the lookout for how we can expand services and how we can expand offerings to our community. Tell me about this connection.
This is a great connection for the community, especially for our children and those young adults interested in the agricultural field. Hopefully, we get a chance to collaborate with this agency and bring some of the children through to look at the facilities and see how they're growing indoor produce. I know they're going to have a lot of questions. It's going to invoke so many curious thoughts in them, and this is the type of programming that we like to bring to the city to our children so that they can get a hands-on experience in things like this. And so, you know, sometimes they may take a trip out to the farm, and so to see this is a vertical farm, right?
Yeah.
The vertical farm. So to see the vertical farm would be a different experience for them and just widen their knowledge. So, you know, we like to communicate with the different organizations that are in the city of Orange and bring it to our residents.
Thank you, Wendy. I want Lauren to really quickly jump in. I want to first show off her suit. This is Lauren from Elevate. Lauren, you've done an extended study. You study agriculture. You went abroad, way abroad, to study these kinds of environments, and now you're bringing it back to Elevate. Tell me how important that is.
Oh, it's super important. And I'm excited not only for Orange, New Jersey, but just for the world at large. I was speaking earlier about how when I would go talk to students in school, I would say, get really excited because the jobs that you're going to have don't even exist yet.
Right.
I know that the job that I had didn't exist when I was a student. And even so, just a few years ago, it was more like a dream for the future. So it's really exciting to see the research that's been being done for the past few decades be implemented now in a realistic way.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. There you have it. All technology is here. Nature is here. There are opportunities on the job front, from technology to computers to agriculture to how we use water to environmental science. You name it, it is in this spot. And we're happy to have Elevate on board. I am Mayor Warren. I'm with Lauren. I'm with Min, and we are at Elevate Farms. Min, take us out.
Yeah, I just want to say again how thankful we are for the city of Orange and for specifically Mayor Warren, who has been just the biggest advocate for us, not just to be here in Orange, but to get things done to hopefully have a long and prosperous future in the city of Orange. So I cannot thank you enough for all of the support that you've given us.
Thank you, sir.
I know we've said this many times, but we'll say it to everyone watching. We couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm Mayor Warren. We're Elevate Farms. Come on out, have some lettuce.